Podcast. Sounds of joy. Laughter, fun, and comedy. Episodes weekly.
Early access and bonus and exclusive stuff. It's like poetry.
Patreon.com/WassessCasts Productions. And enjoy the show. This episode is going to be complicated. Welcome to the After Credits Cast, the only film podcast to admit we probably cried this week. I'm your host, AJ Wazeska, and I'm joined by Ryan Metters. And everyone else is MIA because they couldn't handle the feels.
Oh, I'm still crying a little bit. Sorry, guys. Ugh.
You can follow us on multiple platforms, including Patreon, Pippa, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Google Play's gone at this point, from what I've been told, so good luck on that one. iHeartRadio. You can Google us. You'll find us just on a Google Play. Not there. Ryan, if they wanted to find us or email us directly, what could they email us at?
They can email us at Iroh is far too pure for this world, and no one deserves him. No one deserves him. Sorry. That's evacstation@gmail.com.
Also, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter. We're there too. Ryan, we got some stuff to talk about today. And this first one's going to be a doozy because it's like multiple little episodes and a big episode, and I'm not sure how to synopsis that properly, so I tried, and we'll see how that goes. This week, we'll be tackling the tangled mess that is Tales of Ba Sing Se, originally airing September 29th, 2006, written by Joanne Estosta, Lisa Wallander, Andrew Hubner, Gary Shipek, Lauren McMullen, Katie Matilla, Justin Ridge, and Giancarlo Volpe, and directed by one person, Ethan Spalding. And it was also animated by DR Movie. The cast includes a few new names. Melinda Clarke as Madame Makmoulin, Marcella Lentz-Pope as Jin, who I definitely appreciate, Andy Morris as Kenji, and Quentin Flynn, simply known as the Mugger.
His stance was all wrong.
All wrong. Ryan, you have some fun facts for me, don't you?
I do. This is the last episode featuring the Cabbage Merchant, but he is mentioned in Ember Island Players. So give that man a round of applause.
Yep. Stay innovation.
It's one of the best running gags.
No other show can compete.
God. Hey, next up, Madame Makmuling, the instructor of the 575 Society, is named after Lauren McMullen, part of the series production team and the writer of that segment. I love that. That's hilarious.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, man. All right, and last, but most certainly not least, this episode is in memory of Mako, Iroh's voice actor. His replacement, Greg Baldwin, starting in Book 3, has been asked by fans numerous times to give his rendition of Leaves from the Vine, featured in this episode. In 2020, after Avatar was brought to Netflix, Greg responded to fans online stating, out of deep respect for Mako Iwamatsu, I did it.
Yep.
It's the one fan request I always decline. It's Mako's song, not mine. God.
Gets you every time. Gets you every time.
It really does, honest to God. Because we had talked it up before, and I knew it was coming this time, and I was still crying. I still cried.
All right. Well, Ryan, I would like your help with the synopsis this week, if you don't mind.
Mm.
So I will read the intro bit to it. I will read the first section. If you just want to read the middle section when we get to that one, then I'll wrap it up with the last section. That way it's like that way it breaks up a little bit. There's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff.
No problem. So I've got the highlighted bit?
Yep.
Cool. Gotcha.
This is a multi-part collection of mini-episodes featuring our heroes enjoying, quote-unquote, their time in Ba Sing Se. It's going to be a little different from the usual synopsis. We begin with a day at the spa for Katara and Toph as they do some female bonding. They also kill some local residents because they were bullies to them. A little harsh. Jumping ahead, we see Aang volunteer for a task of recollecting zoo animals to a much larger space to make the zoo less of a crap hole. He succeeds, but wrangles up most of the local pets. How he managed to do this with the Dai Li arresting him for disturbing the peace is beyond me.
Sokka stumbles into a poetry club and partakes in a poetry slam of sorts. It's dumb and funny, but I like the simplicity of it. Not much else to say. Next, Zuko goes on a blind date with a cute girl. She wants the flamin' hot D, but he's too gun-shy about it. He gives her a coupon and a night to remember, but leaves her before things get a little too steamy. But he said she had a good time. Hashtag bring back Chin.
Next we have Iroh's Tale, where he goes around granting wisdom and advice to local residents on his way to a private memorial for his son. No jokes, that one hurt a lot. We end with Momo looking for Appa in Ba Sing Se. He's picked up by a dog catcher when he gets into it with a few pygmy pumas, is what they're called. That's what they're called in the wiki, actually. They all break out, and the pumas take Momo to the last known location of Appa, showing his big old footprint before the episode ends, and we'll pick that up next episode, for sure. So, not a lot of straightforward narrative through line going on, a lot of little bits here and there, but that's the point. Collection of episodes, everyone kind of telling their own little short stories. So, Ryan, aside from the obvious, which short story did you enjoy most?
I actually really liked the Girls' Day, Spa Day.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really liked that one. It's you. By this point, we're used to Toph being the strong badass who doesn't take shit, and we start seeing other smaller parts of her character because she hates those parts, but they are still a part of her, where she uses her connections to her family to get them a ticket on the boat, or where she shows them how to actually blend into high society. Like, this actually doesn't make any sense with the Toph that we already know. So seeing more of that come out and seeing a bit of her insecurities, but also where Katara can actually like meet her halfway with that, and eventually wanting to try to reconnect to her father. There's a lot of really cool character work that Toph gets to go through in that small short. So while it was filler, it did a lot of character work. So that's my favorite, aside from the obvious.
Mm-hmm. So I'm torn between two. I don't know if I want something that's funny or something that's a little more sweet, but I don't know. I have a soft spot for Zuko's blind date. I like what it goes through. I like the emotions he's going through. I appreciate him actually being cute and nervous about something versus like being an arrogant hothead about it. Like, there's a lot of it that just like you can see a side of Zuko we don't see very much, and it's refreshing. It's nice, and Jin's a really good character. I wish they'd bring her back.
No, I don't. Certain characters would kill her.
Oh no, obviously.
Straight murder. But I actually just about that. How did she not guess he was a fireman?
I feel like unlike
Close your eyes.
I feel like
wow, all these candles are lit. How'd you do this?
I feel like
girl.
I feel like unlike certain people in Ba Sing Se who are racist, she's not. I think she's just more like, hey, this cute hot guy wants to hang out with me. I'm down for this.
I like that. I like the idea that she's not dumb and can put two and two together and be like, okay, so he's probably a firebender, but he's really shy and really cute, and he seems to not be an asshole.
Man, that's a
judging people on their actions and character rather than the horrible things you've heard about them. What the fuck?
That's a timeline I'd love to go down and just see like where that goes. Like, just what's that life like with Jin? I just want to know.
Does the what if episode, the what if series.
The what if
where
machine.
where Zuko and Iroh actually never leave Ba Sing Se. They run the tea shop, the Jasmine Dragon. They have a very quiet but very beautiful and prosperous life. And Zuko starts to heal in a simpler but a calmer way. Oof.
So,
That'd be good.
Brian, Michael, can we get a what if episode? Just a bunch of compilations of just what if this happened instead of this? Like, I'd be down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, please. That'd be really good. I mean, I don't know if the world would have been taken over by the Phoenix King, but it's...
I mean, Zuko could have always been like, Jin, I have something I have to go do, and then he just goes help Aang real quick, and then comes back. He's like, okay, I've done my job, I'm back. I had to go fight in the war. Why do you think we don't get much of Katara and Toph together in other episodes?
I think for the rest of this season, it's pretty plot-centric. So it's harder to fit in those character beats, like those like really nice human character moments, because like Tales from Ba Sing Se are supposed to be like over the span of weeks in the city. Like this is the downtime episode. This is the time jump episode. So it's just like over the course of these weeks, various things happen to our gang while they don't really have anything else to do. From here on out, they don't really get that kind of downtime. I don't think, at least.
I can see what you're getting at there, yeah. Because once the Fire Nation invades Ba Sing Se, it's pretty much just running from that point on. So
yeah.
How the fuck does Aang not get arrested for his bullshit? Like, don't get me wrong, it's a fun bit, sure, it's cute, but like 9 times out of 10, that would get him arrested, hands down.
So, knowing what we know about the Dai Li later on and coming up, I'm guessing that they didn't want to make a move because he was the Avatar, but he also wasn't trying to directly undermine the Dai Li's hold on the city. So that's like the only explanation I can give. It's like they didn't want to tip their hand that they were watching him, and since he wasn't actively moving against them, it didn't really matter.
That has to be it, because like in any other scenario, like he's disturbing the peace, he's letting animals loose all over the city. Like people are gonna probably get hurt by that if you aren't like being like realistically speaking, some of those animals are gonna hurt people. So like that's dangerous, and I guarantee you that any other scenario he'd be arrested.
Yeah, probably. Like, I don't give a damn who you are. What the fuck?
Listen, I don't care if you're Kanye West, you're going to jail. Next question. Brian, can you give us a haiku on the spot?
Oh God. Improv is hard, man. Why do you keep putting me here? I'm not good at this.
I'll take that. That's pretty solid.
Yay!
That's pretty solid. I was counting. I pay attention.
I'm literally like counting on my hand, like da 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 da. Ah, okay, good.
I mean, to be fair, Sokka did the exact same thing. So I mean, yeah, par for the course.
Oh my god.
So I like that bit. That's probably my second favorite bit, if we're not counting the Iroh section at all, because it's just fun. It's just a lot of fun seeing him be a goof in this club. It's great.
It really is. Like this is. See, so this episode is cool because it breaks the tension from the previous episodes, but it does it in a more natural way than the drill does. Because the drill just feels abrupt. We're gonna do something different now. Big action, hooray. This one, we're kind of introduced to the fact that you're gonna be in the city for a while. You're gonna look up leads on Appa. You're waiting to see the king. It will probably take a while. And then they lead into, okay, during the downtime, we have shenanigans.
It's kind of like it's kind of like that part when you're playing like Minecraft or other games where you gather resources. It's that part of the game where you're not really doing anything; you're just getting the resources, and it's in between like the first boss, the second boss, or something like that. Like you're in between the big events. This is that moment where it's like, okay, well, let's get some wood, let's get some iron, let's build the furnace for a bit and get prepped up. We're not doing anything too crazy.
Right. So yeah, but I mean, like this feels like a more natural slowdown. So it feels better to kind of take a moment away from from everything that's happening, especially because they bring you right back to it at the end of it. So it doesn't feel like we just took this detour for fuck all reasoning. Mm-hmm. Just like at the end of it, it's like, oh shit, Appa, he's in the city. Okay, we're close. Like we can get there. We can get there. We can find him. Things can happen. So yeah, like I like this episode in terms of a breather more than the drill, because it feels like it's a natural slowdown. Like it feels like a small detour from the story, as opposed to a fuck, let's go over here for a second and have a fight and then come back.
So we already talked about Jin and Mai, and we talked about Zuko today a little bit. Is there anything else you want to add to that one, or should I jump to the next one?
No, we can go to the next one. It's good to see another side of Zuko, much like Toph, where you get to see kind of like away from the majority of the persona that like you get to see it makes him a little more well-rounded, a little more three-dimensional. And he doesn't really know how to be a teenager, so I like that they showed that.
All right, so here it is. How much does the Iroh short get to you, Ryan? I think the answer is pretty clear, but let the audience know a little bit.
Yeah. God. It's really tough, because you see throughout the whole day, Iroh does nothing but give to others. Like, even in the midst of him trying to, like, do something that's important for him, he takes the time to help people out that need it. And then all at the end of it, you just see, like, the sadness that he carries inside of him the whole time. Even though you know Iroh as the jolly, happy-go-lucky, wise old man that always there with the joke, always there with some wisdom, always there to kind of help you on your path. And you just get to see a little bit behind, I don't want to say the mask, because I don't feel like he's being insincere at all. I think he does have a lot of that joy that's like this naturally beaming from him, but you get to see a bit of the pain as well. And it's, there are people in real life who are like that. So it's fuck. I'm like tearing up right now, and I haven't even seen the episode for like weeks. Fuck. It's really good. I'm sorry. It's just it's very poignant, and it's very well executed. Just to have a simple song that he's been humming this whole time that sounds like a kind of little jaunty little tune, because we know Iroh loves his music, and when you hear him sing it at the memorial for his son, it all makes sense. It's good, man. It's good.
Yeah, it's a hard one to talk about and a hard one to watch, because this is a character you've grown with this whole series. I guess not really grown with, but you've watched him this whole series, and he's this fountain of wisdom. He's this aged but kind person who's always trying to like do the right thing, teach his lessons as best as he can, especially to Zuko, who he looks at like as a surrogate son now. And just seeing how much he misses and cares for his real son, and the impact that's had on his life, and just like we said before, we would love to see a prequel just showing how he deals with his son's passing after the event of it happening to when the show starts. Like there's a whole life of Iroh we've never seen that I think would be the most fascinating thing to check out.
Absolutely. I mean, like Iroh is responsible for the 2 moments in this show that make me cry. It's this one, and there's one coming up in season 3 that we'll get to.
I'm pretty sure I know which one it is, but
it's all Iroh. it's all Iroh, guys.
Mm-hmm. And you would think that the kids show wouldn't dive into to an older character like this hardcore, or give him this much screen time, or make it in this emotionally like crippling, but it is. It almost reminds me of the opening sequence of Up a little bit, like just how much it hits you with just such a little amount of time it needs to do it. Like, I don't know. The duo, the group that got this particular segment of the episode together, kudos to you guys for probably bringing one of the most impactful moments of the show together. Like, this is good. This is real good.
Yeah, honest, like for a quote unquote filler episode, this is probably my favorite episode of the season. Like honestly,
the series,
this is like top 5 in the series.
I think we've already answered the question of why does this episode exist. It's not even like a criticism of it, but just like, you're right, it's a breather, but it also gives us a little bit of insight to characters that we normally don't get to see. We don't get to see Toph be vulnerable. We don't get to see Zuko be vulnerable. We certainly don't get to see what's going on behind Iroh when he's not dropping wisdom left and right. I think the Aang and the Sokka segments are definitely your comedic breaks that don't work as well in terms of character depth and in terms of breather, but they're good. They're fine. And we won't really dive too deep into Momo's section because there's not a lot of like story to it other than just we get a lead on Appa, and that'll be the primary part of the second half of this episode. But one question I gotta drop, Ryan, unless there's anything you want to add to it.
Just before we move on to the last question, we've had the conversation last season in terms of like the point of filler episodes, in which case you have like pointless filler where it's just like we're going to give them a story that really doesn't connect to the main story, and it just gives them something to do while we write up whatever the fuck is supposed to happen next.
Great divide. Yep.
Yeah. But, I mean, real, like filler episodes that actually have a purpose do well to still develop the story. Even though the plot isn't being developed, you get to see more, like it's all character building. It still puts work towards the story, but towards rounding out the characters, making them more fleshed out, more three-dimensional. And so great filler does that, where it feels like you can take a breath from what the plot is doing and learn more about the people that you're traveling with on this journey. You see that in all the best filler in this show, and I think this episode really is the pinnacle of that argument, where aside from just the pure comic relief, which is perfectly fine because we need to laugh, everybody else gets a light shown on them so you can see more of their rough edges, more of the facets that you don't get to see because the plot doesn't really pull that out of them. But when we continue on from this episode, you'll feel like you know these characters better. And then when they have big character moments, it will be that much more impactful because you know them better.
Man, I wish Naruto's filler arcs had been this good.
Man, if only.
Like, even half this good would have been acceptable. Like, they were just trash.
You want to talk about just giving them a meaningless story so that the mangaka can actually write the fucking thing? Yeah. When I think of pointless filler, I think of Naruto and I think of Bleach.
And I love Naruto, don't get me wrong, but that filler is just it's awful. Final question for this episode, Ryan. Does this episode signify the end of the lighthearted fun times for the game? Why or why not?
For this season, kind of, yeah.
Well, so I bring it up because this is the last appearance of the Cabbage Merchant, so the running joke ends here. This is the last appearance of a few other things like that, and this is also the final episode before we get to Appa's Lost Days, which is probably the bigger gut punch of these two episodes because it's hitting you multiple times in a single episode. And then from there you have the Fall of Ba Sing Se, that all of season 3, which is it's its own mixed bag. There's certainly lighthearted episodes and moments, but it's a majority of just we are fighting a losing war. We are desperate, and this is our last chance. Like it's the rest of the series is pretty dang serious on the average. So I don't know. I feel like this is definitely like that final threshold of hey, this is the last bit of just pure, absolute, unquestionable fun. Get ready, guys. It's gonna get real.
I mean, I definitely agree with that assessment for this season. Definitely, this is like the last bit of like lightheartedness you get before we destabilize an active kingdom. In terms of for the whole series, there is a little bit of lightheartedness in season 3 as well. But I think you're right. It is mostly couched in like really important stuff that's happening, and either their desperate need to have a small break before they do stuff, or the fact that they're cracking under the pressure of what they have to do. So yeah, I think in terms of just pure lightheartedness, this is probably the last episode we're going to get for that. Yeah, I think you're right on that.
Let's head over to side B. Just when you said the last one didn't kick you in the balls with the feels enough. Appa's Lost Days, originally airing October 13th, 2006. Written by Elizabeth Welsh-Iez and directed by Giancarlo Volpe. There's not a lot of new guests in this one because there's not a lot of talking, but we do have one, Brian George as Guru Patik.
Oh, God. I'm not ready for this. God, I forgot these happened back to back.
And there's also an award for this episode, a Genesis Award for Outstanding Children's Programming.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
they're like, holy shit, guys, this is a kids show. What are you doing?
If any one episode was going to win an award for this is probably going to be one of the top ones for sure.
Yeah.
Ryan, I'll handle a couple of fun facts here.
Oh boy, fun. Appa is one of the few characters on the show to bleed. The first was Zuko during his battle with Azula. That's not fun, dog. I don't know why you said that's a fun fact. Next up, the last quote-unquote fun fact here. On March 27th, 2007, this episode received the Genesis Award from the Humane Society of United States in the category Outstanding Children's Programming, which the HSUS Genesis Award press release described as a mythical tale about animals held captive for human entertainment that resonates with the way animals are used in circuses today. Yeah.
That's only like part of the episode too. Holy fuck. Well, back to an normal episode breakdown. We begin right where we left off with Appa being captured in the desert from the Team Snag'em. He is sold to a circus and treated like shit. He then flies off to search for Aang, but comes up short. Getting lost in the forest, he fights a monster from Studio Ghibli, taking on serious injuries in the process. Suki and her girls find Appa and nurse him back to health, but everything changed when the Fire Princess attacked. Suki tells Appa to get away as the Kyoshi warriors are defeated. Appa then encounters Obi-Wan, the Obi-Wan of the series, who helps him reconnect with Aang and provides Aang with an invite to train in the Avatar state. Appa arrives in Ba Sing Se only to once again be captured by Lex Luthor. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I still wholeheartedly believe that Long Feng didn't actually know where Appa was but was rather using that kind of as a poker chip to manipulate the gang. And then literally as soon as the Dai Li saw there was a fucking flying bison, they snatched him just immediately.
Just, you gotta admire the fact that he was ready to take him in. Like, he had the whistle and he was prepared. He had his space form all set to go. Like, I don't know, man. That's some clever preparedness there, I should say.
I mean, like, if we're working with like the time frame of like a month, and the avatars showed up and said, "We're looking for my flying bison," it's like, oh well, I mean, if he's to be found in the city, then surely you want to stay in line while you look up leads, and that's a good way to keep him close. Meanwhile, he's got his agents like, okay, if a fucking flying bison shows up, we got it. We just gotta be able to snatch it. That's a playing card that we can use against the Avatar. So surely the moment that Aang let them know Appa was missing, he was planning on snatching him as soon as he showed up. That's my thinking.
What's interesting though is during that conversation, I remember specifically, Lon Fane brings up the bison first, saying it's a shame about your bison. It would be a shame if we couldn't help you find him or something like that. Like Aang didn't bring
but
that up.
yeah, I think I'm pretty sure Aang and the rest of them brought that up. Yeah.
Maybe he brought it up with Judy and she passed on him, but I don't think he mentioned it to Lon Fane until after Lon Fane brought it up.
Actually, yeah, that's probably it.
So I could see it happening. So I'm not trying to be picky or anything like that. I'm just thinking of like how Lon Fane would have gotten the information, how he would have planned for all this and all that. But
of course.
Yeah, because it's an interesting character, an interesting twist. I'm just Ryan, how do you think this episode resonated with kids when they were watching this for the first time?
Jesus Christ. Like, hooray! We okay, Appa. We get to see what happened to Appa. Oh my God, he is being mistreated in a circus. Fuck this fire whip guy. Good on Appa for giving him shit. Okay, the kid released him. That's great, but he can't find Aang. He doesn't have the whistle. Fuck, he's getting attacked by wild animals. He's like, when Appa is hiding in that cave, injured and like all fucked up, and like to the point where he doesn't even want to let Suki touch him. I'm like, this is breaking my goddamn heart. So yeah, I mean, this absolutely had to be a gut punch for kids when this first came out.
In his defense, he's only seen Suki the one time.
Fair, but still, this is Appa, who has been perfectly fine with being around people, like for the entirety of this season, and then like over the month, he's reverted back to being terrified. I'm like, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember my first viewing this as a kid. It's been a while, and this episode. So as a kid, I was one of those like definitely happy-go-lucky kids who's like things like this I didn't click with because like positivity. I'm gonna fucking ignore shit that's gonna be depressing and sad. So coming back to it now, it hits me really hard, honestly. But back in the day, I cannot tell you how I reacted to this one. This might have been one of those episodes where I'm like, oh, this episode's sad. Skip.
I think I kind of was like that too because I wanted to. I honestly think. At the like when I first watched this, I probably didn't resonate with the second season all that much.
Yeah. Because
I wanted to get back to the fighting and the throwing of the lightning and the fucking air typhoons. Let's go. I want to get there. But so yeah, I don't think I resonated with it as much when I was younger. But yeah, coming back and watching this like as an adult, like yeah, it's hard to watch. But it's also one of the reasons why it's really, really good. Because those two don't have to be mutually exclusive. Something can be amazing and make you feel deeply and be very well crafted, and it's just sad.
Like, can you even imagine one of the human characters going through a situation like this? Like, obviously it wouldn't be one-to-one because they could actually talk and communicate and shit like that. But like, can you just imagine one of the other characters going through this level of hell for an entire episode, and then getting to the end, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's like, oh, we might actually be able to. Oh, fuck, no, I guess not.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you wanted to supercharge your hatred towards the villain, like taking us all the way through Appa's days and finally like getting to Ba Sing Se and like looking for Aang, only to at the very last moment get snatched by Long Fang, that's immediate heat. That's fight on sight. Like I'm ready. Let's fuck this dude up.
Yeah, no, Long Fang is he's a real piece of shit. How do you think he ranks for you in among the villains in this show at this point?
He's up there, dude. Like Long Fang is really, really up there because he's very complex, and his power is less like direct out like immediate strength, but more like playing the long con. You know, he's like the thinker in the Flash.
Okay.
That's what he is for me in this, because when you have your heroes going up against a series of progressively stronger opponents and they constantly come out on top, even though it's harder for them, they're still winning, they're getting stronger, and they're making their way. Throwing something at them that they're not used to handling and having it being done by somebody really fucking competent at what they do is amazing, because they've got to change their whole fucking move set. They got to change everything about how they're going to deal with it. And it's really interesting to see the heroes adapt to that challenge. Mm-hmm. So for that, I think Long Fang is definitely high up there in terms of villainy.
He's definitely more interesting than, say, Ozai. Who with no disrespect to Ozai as, like, the final villain, he comes off as, like, I'm just going to destroy the world kind of guy. Long Fang has complications and he's got layers. I'm more interested in what he's got going on. Ozai is definitely flashier and more fun to watch. But Long Fang, I think, would be more interesting long term.
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, fucking Azula is more interesting than Ozai, because Azula has deep childhood trauma just embedded from go.
Well, okay.
That she has to deal with.
To be fair, anyone compared to Azula in terms of villainy is gonna... It's just no contest. She's the best villain of the whole series.
She is. Yeah, I can't even fucking knock it. I'd probably say... Azula...
Would Jet be on this list too, you think?
Yes.
Okay. Because, like, if you redeem yourself, do you stay on the list, or do you still stay on there because you did do villain things for a bit?
I'd say he's still on the list.
Okay.
In terms of just like the villainous impact that he had, I'd say it'd go Azula, Long Fang, Ozai, Jet. I'd probably rank it that way.
I don't know. I could see Jet being a little higher because he's a far more relatable villain. Like, he's the kind of villain your neighbor could be.
Like, oh yeah, like 100%. Like, the only reason I think Ozai beats him out is because he's the final villain.
Oh yeah,
and he's so like batshit crazy and like a charismatic force of nature. Fucking Mark Hamill, come on, dog, come on.
That's the one that holds him in the contention at all. Is just Mark Hamill voices him, and he does such a great job with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not Joker by any means, but it also sounds a lot like Joker. So I'm like, okay, I'm down. Let's do this. Did you expect the Kyoshi Warriors to show up here?
I didn't, and I was so happy when they did, because we needed a fucking friendly face, and it made so much... It made sense, because we knew that Suki was working with her girls on something, and that they were going to Ba Sing Se just later on. So it made sense that she would be the one to find him on her way there. Like, that's what I loved about it. I love and I hate the way the Kyoshi Warriors are used from this point forward, because it's fucked up, but it's so goddamn clever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but still, like, yeah, I absolutely loved seeing them. They were they were a sight for sore eyes, because at that point in the show, we were just like, fuck the world at this point, man. Look what they did to my boy.
It's one of those things where you think, maybe having makeup like that all the time is bad for some reason. And then you find out, oh, it's because you can hide someone in there as a villain, and you would never know because, oh, hey, there's Azula. But, no, it was definitely a sight for sore eyes, and I think on two fronts. One, because it gives Appa someone he can trust, even if he doesn't believe it right away. It also gives us another familiar face and a group of characters we actually enjoy. Like, I think even though we weren't like super hot on the Kyoshi Warriors episode, the characters themselves are still pretty fun.
Definitely.
And yeah, it's a bummer they lose, but I think they have to because Boss Insane has to fall. It has to because the mid season, the second season has to end on a down note, so that way the third season can pick back up and finish on a high note. And
also it reestablishes Azula as Azula. Jesus,
yeah.
Ryan. Yeah, as a threat. Because you said, it almost seems like the gang was kind of like a match for them. Like at that during the drill. So having them win a fight is a good way to kind of reestablish their dominance. Plus, while the Kyoshi Warriors are very skilled warriors, they're just warriors. And Azula and her gang is they're nonsense. They're stupidly good. So if they couldn't beat the Kyoshi Warriors at that point, it's just meh.
Yeah, if they couldn't beat the Kyoshi Warriors, and again, not knocking the Kyoshi Warriors, but if they couldn't beat the Kyoshi Warriors, they're not really a credible threat to the Avatar.
Right. Exactly my point.
Yeah, no, I can count on that, and and then there's also the fact that if they don't lose here, then how Suki reunites with them won't be in the Boiling Rock, and the Boiling Rock then loses half of the charm of the episode. So no, I think everything works the way it's supposed to in a very nice puzzle box kind of way. I think it's pretty solid. Yeah. I asked here again why the Appa didn't just fly away from the Sandbenders, in case we forgot about that last episode, but we did cover that. So that's kind of all the questions I have for this one. It's short because there's not a whole lot to really discuss. It's more just being sad. Is there anything I missed, Ryan, that you wanted to touch up on? I guess I could ask, what are your first impressions on Guru Patik?
Yes. That was very interesting. He's the first non-bender that we see with a very, very deep spiritual tie, to the point where he's not a bender, yet he does seemingly magical shit. So I would be very interested in learning more about the gurus, just from him showing up, because he's not an airbender. But he studied with the airbenders, and that was a while ago.
Yeah, how old is this fucker?
Seriously, is he honest to God? If Guru Patik showed up in Korra, I would not have I wouldn't have been mad. Yeah, nope, that's a magic man. That's just a magic man.
So according,
I wouldn't be surprised if he was a spirit. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually a spirit.
So Brian, I've got some fun facts for you.
Ooh.
I looked up the Avatar wiki to see Guru Patik's age. Let's see. Guru Patik is the oldest living human character in the show at the age of 150. He was one of the few humans known to have lived through and possibly witnessed the wartime arrivals of Sozin's Comet. Both wartime arrivals of Sozin's Comet. Patik is also one of 5 known characters alive before and after the 100-Year War, including Aang, Appa, King Boomy, and the Lion Turtle.
Yep.
So, yeah. That's definitely something I didn't know, so I'm glad to know that now.
Yeah, we need some info on Guru Patik. That's what we need.
Yep. Maybe when we come back for the episode where he does a lot more, we'll jump into the bit. Looks like his abilities are chi sensing, and he's also a master of yoga and meditation. Yeah.
That dude's a spirit. I'm just calling it. I'm fucking calling it. This dude is a spirit. He's actually a spirit.
It is a little weird that he doesn't make any reappearance in the series, like either series at all. Like if you're gonna have someone show up in the spirit world, I almost sort of expected him over Iroh in Legend of Korra, but
I mean, having Iroh show up is definitely a great tie back to the original episode.
Oh yeah, no, it's preferable, honestly.
Series. But yeah, no, I mean, like, being a master in meditation and chakra unlocking allows you to magically impart the location of the avatar into the mind of a flying bison. Sure. Tell me that man is not a spirit. Tell me that man is magic. Yeah, let me look at Appa for like 3 seconds and be like, oh wow, a whole bunch of shit happened to you, dude. I'm so sorry. This episode was bullshit. Let's get you something to eat. I'm gonna tell you where. I'm gonna fucking Vulcan mind meld you where Aang is, so that you can bring him to me because we gotta get some shit done. He needs my guidance.
Yeah, Guru Patik was a weird character. Not like bad, but like he just sort of came out of nowhere with all this like useful information that the game needed at the right time, I think, for the most part. And yeah, he's just kind of a weird addition to the cast that, again, no hate, just like seems very coincidental.
Yeah, I strongly agree on that.
That's all I have for this particular episode. Solid episode overall. Solid couple episodes, honestly. This is probably one of my favorite doubles we've done in a while. It's a shame that no one else is here to enjoy it, but you know what? It's fine. Get the classic duo back together again. So, let's get to the mail call real quick. If you want to mail us directly to give us your thoughts on these episodes, your favorite part of the Tales of the Boss Sensei, or if you just want to tell us if you want to email us about giving a petition up for getting a Iroh prequel, you can email us. Ryan, where can they email us at?
They can email us at Brave Soldier Boy Comes Marching Home.
Include the tears in your email, by the way.
Sorry, that's evacstation@gmail.com.
If I don't see any teardrops in those emails, I will know you failed. You can also reach out to us Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook, and you know what? Throw the hashtag out there, Iroh prequel. Let's see if we can make that trending. Let's do that. I doubt it'll trend at all, but we'll try. Let's go ahead and rank these episodes from platinum to bronze, all the colors in between. Let's start with Tales of the Boss Sensei. Ryan, what do you want to rank this one at?
That's a goddamn platinum, dog. That's a platinum. Tales of Boss Sensei, it has to be a platinum for me personally because of all the character development that's done. It is a much needed break, not only after all the shit we've gone through, but the nonsense that's about to ramp up throughout the rest of this season. It's definitely a much deserved break. It does a lot of work in developing the rest of the characters, and Iroh, come on, man, it's platinum for me.
It's a tough one for me because it does hit the top benchmark of does it get an emotional reaction out of you? Yeah, it does. And that alone should qualify it for a platinum. But my thinking though is it's also a bunch of multiple parts of creating one greater whole, and not every part in this episode is created equal. I think we can at least agree on that part. And so, taking it on an average scale, I would say this is probably the highest gold I will give it, or highest gold I will give out. It probably deserves to be a platinum, but there's a couple spots where I'm like, if you cut these or if you just change them or polish up a little bit, without question, platinum. But as it stands, it's really good. Just a few little blips on the radar here is all it's holding back.
Yeah, I get that. I do.
Appa's Lost Days. Ryan, where are we going to rank this one?
Fuck. God. It's definitely a gut punch. It's a very emotional episode, and I'm glad to get Appa on track to being back with the gang. And of course, snatching Appa at the very last minute is like the best way to really ignite the hatred for Long Fang that you really want going into the last bit of the season. So like it's definitely a well done episode. This is one of those fillers that does a lot of work. In which case, like it tells a really good side story and explains where Appa's been and really sets stuff up for things going forward. I'm gonna give this one a silver. It definitely makes me feel stuff, but it doesn't do a whole bunch else for the story. It's more just like, meanwhile, while all that was happening, we're gonna catch you up over here. And
it's like connective tissue almost. It's not any meat, but it's a connective tissue.
Yeah, yeah.
I could kind of that. I think I will probably take it a step higher on this one in particular and go gold. Just because Appa's journey is definitely harrowing in a lot of ways, and it's rough, and yeah, it's hard to sit through. But at the same time, though, it does a lot of good work with it, and again, the only thing that holds this one back, I think, is just like you said, it's more connective tissue than actual meat, and I think once we get past this episode, that's all we're gonna get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is good. We're waiting for it. We're chomping at the bit for it.
We've had all of the recovery time we need. Now I'm ready to bust some heads and tear into the Earth Kingdom. Let's go.
Yep. Next week, you'll be listening to us talk about episodes 17 and 18, which are Lake Laogai and the Earth King. And then we'll follow up with the season finale of that, and then we'll be seeing you guys for season 3 in, let's see, that should be March? Yeah, I think March will be when that comes out. So, yeah. Man, we got a crazy schedule, don't we? Yeah,
the fact that we have a schedule at all after this year is pretty good.
So, fun fact, actually, Ryan, for you that you might not know this, I've changed the release order or release schedule for these episodes slightly. So every episode before Avatar used to be once a week. The fans have already caught on to this probably, but I've released these episodes once every 6 days. That way, you get 5 episodes in a month. That way, you get the season done within about 2 months. So it speeds up a little bit, not too much, but enough where we can at least pace it out enough. So that way when we're hitting our new content for February, March, and going forward, it will be movies and stuff, but this at least gives us some filler in case for some reason Hollywood has not gotten their stuff together yet, which we'll see how that goes. But thank you all for listening, and we will see you after the credits.
Bye.